The mobile phone accessories market continues to grow with mobile phones. How much money do Koreans spend in mobile phone accessories? The Park Geun-hye government again emphasizes the importance of the tourism industry. What is the current status of Korea's tourism industry, and are there any alternatives? After high-definition television and full HD TV, now it is Ultra HD TV. Let's meet Ultra HD TV poised to become a new standard of TV manufacturing and broadcasting technologies. Vitamins are popular health functional foods for people around the world. What is the secret to VitaminHouse, which joined the fierce competition among global giants? South and North Korea easily agree on the family reunion date. North Korea's intentions behind its conciliatory gesture and the outlook for South and North Korea's relations.
Hello, I'm Andrew Salmon, and welcome to Bizline. Now, according to some metrics, the largest money earner on earth is the leisure and tourism sector. But this sector has traditionally been considered frivolous in South Korea's manufacturing-heavy economic paradigm. Is this changing? We'll be looking at the current status and the future potential of the sector here in Korea. We'll also be looking at technology in the form of ultra-high definition TV and technology collateral in the form of smartphone accessories. So, do stay with us. But before we go to those and other features, let's first take a look at all the breaking business and economic news hitting headlines across Korea this week.
Sales of hybrid cars in the nation shot up last month as consumers were provided with more options to choose from. The Hyundai Kia Automotive Group said they sold a combined 2,300 units of their hybrid models in January, thanks in large part to the release last year of their hybrid Grandeur and K7 models. This marks a more than 34% increase in January on year and a more than 157% increase from the previous month. Korea's exports of IT products, which included semiconductors and mobile phones, inched up 0.2% last month from the same period a year earlier to $13.1 billion. The Trade Ministry attributed the rise to growing shipments to ASEAN member countries and the European Union. Shipments of mobile phones in particular surged over 14% last month from the previous year to $2.1 billion. A more than 20% spike in exports of smartphones led the rise. Korea's shipbuilding industry got off to a smooth start this year, logging the most global orders in January. London-based Clarkson Research Services said that Korean shipbuilders won orders totaling 1.68 million compensated gross tons last month, a jump of more than 115% from the same period last year. The figure represents more than 45% of the total global shipbuilding market. When it comes to patents related to fourth-generation long-term evolution network, it seems no company can overtake Korea's LG Electronics and Samsung Electronics. Out of the essential patents applied for the US and Europe's patent offices, LG Electronics eclipsed all other players, taking up 23% of all patents, according to Tech IPM, a US-based research and consulting company. Samsung Electronics came in at second with 18%, followed by Qualcomm and Motorola.
In Korea, such is the high penetration rate of high technologies, there are actually more smartphones than there are Koreans. Moreover, Koreans are really into beautification, be it fashion, hair, makeup, even cosmetic surgery. So, what unites these two seemingly unrelated trends? Well, believe it or not, there is a large and growing market for smartphone accessories. How big is this market, and how much money do Koreans spend on individualizing and beautifying their telephones? Let's find out.
Last year, mobile phone service subscribers exceeded 54 million in Korea, which exceeds the total population of the country, which is 48 million. It means that one person in Korea is subscribed to more than one mobile phone, and that is the highest distribution rate in the world. With the fast development of the mobile phone industry in Korea, related industries are growing as well, and that includes mobile phone accessories. A home electronics appliance store in Seoul. There are many mobile phone accessories displayed along with the latest mobile phone models. Many customers are looking at accessories as much as they are paying attention to the high-tech gadgets.
저 같은 경우는 액정 필름하고 그리고 핸드폰 케이스 이런 쪽으로 많이 사용하고 있는 편이에요.
Mobile phone accessories are not a choice for certain people anymore, but a must-have item for all.
요즘 핸드폰도 비싸고 해서 보호 차원에서 사기도 하고 이쁜 거 차고 다니면 기분 좋으니까 두세 달에 한 번씩은 꼭 바꿔요.
Mobile phone accessories are no longer displayed in a mobile phone store corner, but they have their own specialty shops. There are even internet cafes that take care of everything, from new subscription to accessory shopping.
한 번 살 때 좀 크게 사는 편이에요. 왜냐하면 이건 항상 갖고 다니고 나의 항상 보여지는 거니까 좀 예쁜 거 사려면 또 그만큼 지출을 해야 돼서 많이 쓰면 한 5만 원? 그렇게 많이 쓰고 있어요.
Despite its high price, people are willing to open up their wallet.
싸게는 2만 원에서 비싼 거는 한 40만 원대까지 쓰고 있고요. 휴대폰이 지금 100만 원이 넘는데 그 정도는 좀 비싸지 않다고 생각을 해서 많이 사용을 하고 있습니다.
A survey of smartphone users shows that 94% of the respondents use protective cases, while 90% of them use clear screen protective films. Other research shows that the mobile phone accessories market in Korea grew over 60% every year and has reached around $1.5 billion. That figure shows that one person in South Korea spends about $40 to dress up a mobile phone each year.
가장 근본적인 배경은 이제 2009년 말부터 시작된 스마트폰의 보급이라고 할 수 있겠습니다. 스마트폰의 가격이 피처폰에 비해서 고가에 형성되다 보니까 소비자들로 하여금 이제 외부로부터의 충격에 보호하기 위한 니즈가 이제 발생했습니다. 이러한 니즈가 구매로 연결되었고 초기에는 그래서 이제 보호 목적에 부합하는 액세서리 위주로 시장이 형성되었었습니다. 근데 이제 스마트폰이 점차 보급화되고 이제 우리 삶의 중심으로 자리하게 되면서 스마트폰을 통해 아이덴티티나 이제 개성을 드러내고자 하는 요구들이 많이 늘어나기 시작했고요.
A sharp growth of the accessories market is also due to the fact that mobile phone makers in Korea introduce new products more frequently than other countries. A report shows that the mobile phone annual turnover rate in Korea is 67.8%, which means consumers change their phone every 16 months. That is the highest in the world. When a new mobile phone model is introduced, mobile phone accessory makers get the busiest. Manufacturers work on a new line of accessories 2 months before a new mobile phone model is introduced. And as for protective cases, which are sold the most, consumers look for good design more so than its original function of durability. Demands have brought a wider pool of design, including Swarovski and alligator skin as materials, which pushes the price higher.
아무래도 이제 폰 자체의 디자인이 서로 다 비슷비슷하기 때문에 자기의 개성 표출을 위해서 그러니까 옷을 서로 다른 옷을 입는 거를 원하듯이 개성 표출의 차원에서도 있고 그다음에 폰을 쓰는 용도 자체도 거의 하루 종일 자기와 함께하는 그런 옷과 비슷한 존재가 됐기 때문에 아무래도 패션적인 영향을 많이 받고 있는 추세입니다.
There is even an application where consumers can order a protective case that they have designed themselves. There is a growing demand from consumers who want to show their personality through mobile phone accessories. A survey shows that consumers purchase mobile phone accessories more often on the internet rather than going to an offline store. It also indicates growth of the online shopping malls. With the rise in demand for new accessories, the industry has entered a fierce competition.
불과 몇 년 전까지만 해도 그 모바일 액세서리 하면 케이스가 주류였는데 최근 들어서는 그 단순 케이스가 아니고 블루투스 관련한 스피커, 이어폰, 그리고 액세서리, 그리고 웨어러블 관련한 여러 정말 소비자들이 다양한 공간 내에서 쓸 수 있는 모바일 액세서리들이 더 시장이 커질 걸로 보여지고, 그리고 국내의 여러 업체들도 그 시장을 내다보고 여러 기술 개발과 디자인 개발, 소비자 시장 조사 등을 통해서 차별화될 수 있는 제품 개발에 많은 노력을 현재 쓰고 있습니다.
Experts say that the mobile phone accessories market will continue to grow for some time due to continued technological developments and a rise in smartphone subscription rates.
스마트폰 액세서리 시장 같은 경우는 이제 대표적인 애프터마켓이기 때문에 기기의 형태와 기능에 따라 굉장히 많이 좌우가 되거든요. 그 웨어러블 디바이스나 플렉서블 디스플레이 같은 새로운 기술이 이제 도래함에 따라서 스마트폰 액세서리 시장 또한 새로운 기회를 통해 성장할 수 있을 것으로 전망했습니다.
The mobile phone accessories market is growing worldwide. Consumers are keen on new trends and fashion. Korea, having a strong hold in the IT technology sector, is expected to take an advantage in the mobile phone accessories market worldwide.
A goose that lays golden eggs. This is how President Park Geun-hye recently characterized the leisure and tourism industry. And indeed, the number of overseas visitors to Korea has been rising in recent years. This was also the case last year. But oddly enough, although the numbers rose last year, the amount of money they spent actually fell. What is behind this odd trend? Moreover, what does Korea need to do to upgrade its overall leisure and tourism sector? Well, to answer these and related questions, we have with us an expert. He is the Dean of the School of Hotel and Tourism Management at Kyung Hee University. Dr. KIM Chul-won, welcome to Bizline.
Hello, nice meeting you.
Okay, thank you. Let's get started with last year's numbers. Can you tell us how many overseas peeps visited Korea last year and where were they from?
Okay, recently the Ministry of Justice in Korea reported that the higher number of foreigners visited Korea. Actually, 12.1 million foreigners visited Korea last year.
And that's a record?
Yeah, right,
Okay.
high record.
Okay.
This represents a 9% increase.
Okay.
It's compared to the previous years. It's quite a big number. It's also, particularly, the Chinese visitors were so impressive. 36% of total is a 2013 total inbound number in Korea, representing 4.3 million visitors.
Wow. Okay.
It's quite impressive. It's increased number. It's actually 53% of Chinese visitors to Korea last year.
Yeah.
Also, Japanese visitors has been decreased actually 23.1%. As you know, due to its historical, territorial dispute. Also, because weak is yen is currencies.
Yeah.
That means that there are it's a significant shift because China has replaced Japan as number one source of visitors to Korea.
Okay.
Also, surprisingly, almost 2 million southeastern people visited Korea.
Southeast Asians.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Understood. So what we're seeing now then is a replacement of the Japanese as the main numbers by the Chinese. Okay.
Right.
And does that explain why the actual spend last year on tourism was slightly down? Are Chinese not as heavy spenders as Japanese?
As you know very well, Chinese visitors are so big spender. However, when you look at the Korean tourism situation, it's most inbound tourists, the foreign tourists, spend their money on shopping.
Right.
It's actually, as you know, whereas shopping is attractive, it's activities for foreign tourists in Korea. Having said that, that means that there are not many attractive activities excluding shopping in Korea. It's such as entertainment, performance, sports events, or theme park. That's gonna be can induce more spenders from visitors. So actually, there are no reserve as a high valued tourism product. Also, recently, when you look at the tourism policy in Korea, Korean tourism tended to focus on quantitative growth rather than qualitative growth. When you look at quantitative growth, we have to lower tourism price and attracting more numbers. I think that should be changed for inducing more spenders from visitors.
President Park recently presided over the second tourism promotion meeting in February, calling for a drastic easing of regulations and improvements to systems. Give us some details. What needs to be done?
Through this meeting, second is a tourism promotion meeting, is chaired by President Park Geun-hye. That meeting initiate many elevation of some regulation. It's through collaboration among the 18 ministry in the government organization. They suggest 23 regulation to be elevated, easy, for inducing more investment from foreign countries.
Now, if you look around the Korean leisure and tourism landscape, as far as I'm aware, there is no single global tourism operator. There's no Universal Studios, there's no Club Med, there's no Disney World. Why not?
There are many regulations. There's a big problem, but critically speaking, Department of Government trying to sell the land rather than take advantage of the land. For example, there are vast landfill area in the western coast area in Korea. When you look at the foreign country, the central government or local government to provide incentives to the global players like the Walt Disney World or MGM, something like that. The local government or central government should provide incentives for attracting those kinds of players.
And it's not happening?
It's not. Land price is so high, so they cannot make a profit. Usually, is a period of return on investment in tourism sector so long.
It's too long.
In order to build, Disney World or Universal Studio, it will cost a lot of money. So, a local government or a central government should do enormous incentive to attract them. But there is no major so far.
That's fine. One of the early guests we had on the show was indeed the CEO of the Marina Sands Bay in Singapore, and he said we would be here, tomorrow if Koreans were allowed to use these casinos. Frankly speaking, is that likely in the near future? Will the Korean government permit Korean people to enter domestic casinos?
It's a lot of Koreans go abroad for playing casinos in Macau or Las Vegas. However, a casino is a game is related to the society issue. Some people think that casino is a kind of social evil, rather than making some contributing to the society. So we have to overcome those kinds of perception first, I think. So, as you mentioned, that is a CEO of Marina Bay, they try to build some MICE resort. It's MICE resort. MICE stands for is a meeting, incentive, travel, convention, exhibition. That's the most lucrative sector in tourism areas. If they combine MICE and casino, like Sands in Singapore, that's going to be another issue, I think.
Let's talk about the sector in a much more general and broad fashion. Korea has always been a manufacturing economy, not a services economy. that thinking is only just starting to change. And among services, I think tourism in particular was always seen as being a very frivolous and not a very serious sector to invest in, which perhaps explains why it's traditionally been underinvested in. Is this perception changing in today's Korea?
Yeah, absolutely. That those kinds of perception has been changing. You know, in order to boost the Korean economy, we gotta focus on service sectors.
Yeah.
There are many service sectors. Among them is the tourism sector. Is the most recreative sectors.
Yeah.
Also, what I mean is that can create more jobs and can contribute to the national economy.
Yeah.
So I think those kinds of negative perception has been changed. We have to move from manufacturer focus to the service focus to be a more advanced countries.
Again, Korea has sort of traditionally run a tourism travel deficit. Has that changed in recent years? Is the account still in the red, or is it turned into the black?
Actually, it is not red, actually, because you know, when it comes to talking about tourism, the primary focus is especially how to attract more foreign tourists.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, that means that is the fate of Korean tourism industry has been in large part dependent upon the number of foreigners, particularly those from China and Japan. As a matter of fact, 60% of local tourists, domestic tourists, travel around Korea, compared to 70 or 80% is in such industrialized countries as the United States, France.
Sure.
So we have to boost domestic
tourism first. Yeah.
Really, so it's a lot. Last year, Korean took overseas trip about 15 million people.
Okay.
We received 1 million inbound tourists. But Korean people go abroad.
Yeah.
Actually, how many? Is 15 million. Spending 19 trillion is a big money. So we have to boost the real domestic tourism. We have to build many attractive facilities to accommodate Korean people.
I mean, but is this build underway? I mean, Lee Myung-bak had what on paper looked like a very, very good idea, which was to boost the leisure and tourism industry in the interior with the Four Rivers project. And of course, that project didn't succeed according to plan. I mean, how to boost the local tourism industry?
You know, that a second tourism promotion meeting is presided by President Park Geun-hye. That meeting is produced some good measures.
Yeah.
Like the Korean government will provide subsidies to workers at medium and small business. It's subsidies for traveling, for tourism. Also, they designated is a tourism week twice year. It's in May and September.
Yeah.
So at the time, school can have a vacation. So that is a family can go to the domestic tourism together.
Yeah.
So it's going to boost some domestic tourism.
But don't Koreans maybe work too hard? I'm told by people in the Korean National Tourism Organization that they're banging their heads against the wall because so many Koreans just literally won't take their vacation. They're too busy working.
Traveling is a basic right for the human beings.
Sure.
Right? If I work so hard, we have to enjoy our leisure time.
Well, you should do. Yeah.
But it's most of Koreans that doesn't know how to enjoy their leisure time. So we have the education, actually, how to enjoy their leisure activities. So
or teach you how to have fun.
Right. It's boosting domestic tourism. That means that building many attractive facilities, theme park, such as a theme park, is going to really contribute to attract more Koreans to travel around Korea. It's a good spot.
Okay.
Thank you.
So basically, fun is a very serious business.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dr. Kim, it's been a pleasure having you on the show. Thank you very much indeed.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Take care. Good stuff. Following on from HD TV or high definition television, a new buzzword is now being heard around the industry: ultra high definition television. But what actually is ultra HD TV? How does it differ from the existing format, and what changes might it bring to the overall broadcasting space? Let's take a look.
This is a digital broadcasting era where anyone can enjoy watching television programs in clear high-definition level picture quality. What if we could watch TV dramas, news, and commercials every day with a picture quality 4 times clearer? After the color TV revolution, the era of the Ultra HD TV, another next-generation TV, is approaching. In this Ultra HD Experience Center at Electronics and Telecommunications Research Institute, or ETRI, people can enjoy watching cinema-quality 4K resolution images on Ultra HD TV.
일반 스마트 TV처럼 그냥 간단한 3D가 아니라 진짜 내 앞에서 보석이 앞에 튀어나오는 것 같고 나오는 가수들도 제 앞에서 노래 부르는 것 같고 손 잡는 것 같은 기분이 들고 진짜 실감나게 표현이 되는 것 같아요.
Ultra HD shows off picture quality as vivid as if you can touch it with 4 times the resolution of full HD TV. Like this, we can now enjoy watching 4K level realistic images that do not get blurry on a giant screen at home. The item that attracted the most attention at the 2014 International Consumer Electronics Show, or CES 2014, was also the next generation TV.
105 inches, this is the world's largest UHD TV.
This company astonished the crowd by introducing an 8K Ultra HD TV that boasts twice as much the resolution as the already commercialized 4K Ultra HD TV. Meanwhile, this company debuted a 77-inch variable TV which allowed users freely to adjust the angle of the screen with a remote control.
공률을 조정한다는 것은 일단 커브드 제품의 가장 큰 목적 자체는 몰입감입니다. 그래서 혼자 보실 때는 많이 꺾어서 몰입감 높게 보실 수 있는데 텔레비전이라는 게 혼자가 아니고 2~3명 이상 보게 됩니다. 그럴 때는 커브들을 조금 더 펼쳐서 여러 명이 같이 볼 수 있도록 하기 위해서 리모컨을 통해서 커브를 조금 더 굽혔다 폈다 하는 그런 기능이라고 보시면 되겠습니다.
This TV provides a superb viewing experience by implementing the bendable feature on top of using OLED panels, which can produce vivid images, even though they are more difficult to make than LCD panels. Major electronics companies have been rolling out Ultra HD TVs one after another, already causing a cutthroat competition in the next generation TV market.
요즘 지금 TV 시장이 점차 계속 대형화되고 있는 추세다 보니 기존 이제 화질보다는 보다 더 선명하고 디테일한 영상을 원하시는 고객님들이 많이 늘어나고 있기 때문에 UHD TV 판매량이 기존 대비 2배 이상 증가하고 있습니다.
The outlook for the Ultra HD TV market is also rosy. Shipments of Ultra HD LCD TVs, which stood at 1.5 million units last year, are likely to surge more than 6 times to exceed 10 million units this year and above 38 million units in 2018.
UHD TV 시대가 이제 도래했다고 봐도 무방할 것 같고요. 세계적으로 보더라도 미국이나 일본 같은 경우는 올해 또는 조만간 실험 방송을 계획하고 있습니다. 그리고 기술이 진화해서 이미 UHD 시설이나 장비들은 상용화가 가능한 수준에 와 있기 때문에 이것은 시간의 문제이지 UHD 그 방송의 시대를 거스를 수 없는 대세라고 보여집니다.
Last year, a domestic research team had successfully demonstrated experimental Ultra HD broadcast for the first time in the world. E3 has developed Ultra HD broadcasting transmission technology using a satellite. When the Ultra HD content is played, output signals are delivered to the Korean satellite through a large antenna outside the laboratory. The receiver gets these signals and displays them on the Ultra HD TV screen. By using this technology, people can easily enjoy Ultra HD broadcasting at home while solving the satellite broadcasting's problem of broadcasting disruptions during rainy days.
맑은 날에는 가정에서 UHD 화질의 방송을 시청을 하고 비가 오는 날에는 동일한 프로그램을 HD 화질로 시청을 하게 되는 기술입니다. 이렇게 함으로써 급속도로 변하는 방송 서비스 환경에서도 위성방송 품질을 유지할 수 있게 됩니다.
With this, the technology developed by a domestic research team can lead the market before the Ultra HD TV age starts in full scale. Before long, Ultra HD broadcasting will be available not only in satellite channels, but also on terrestrial networks that the entire nation watches.
4K UHD 같은 경우는 2014년도, 그러니까 올해 중반 정도에 시범 서비스를 개시하겠다고 밝힌 나라들이 우리나라를 비롯해서 일본, 영국 이런 나라들이 있습니다. 그에 맞춰가지고 여러 가지 UHD 방송을 하기 위한 장비들이 준비가 될 걸로 생각을 하고 있습니다. 이런 상태로 봤을 때 올해 중반으로 예상하고 있는 시범 서비스는 크게 문제없이 진행이 될 수 있을 것 같고요. 그리고 2015년이나 16년 정도에 계획하고 있는 4K UHD 본방송도 큰 무리 없이 진행이 될 것으로 생각합니다.
As the color TV era replaced the black and white TV era, Ultra HD TV is poised to start another TV revolution. The time when we can meet the Ultra HD TV world, which seems more real than reality, at home is approaching.
Vitamin pills are the most popular supplements taken by health-conscious people worldwide. Unsurprisingly, many global giants are engaged in the manufacturing and marketing of vitamin pills. That makes it a tough market, but that hasn't stopped a Korean company jumping in, and it's actually doing quite well amid the fierce competition. So let's meet this week's hidden champion. And I have to say, these things are really not bad.
Keeping healthy has become the key focus for the generation of people seeking longevity. As a result, there is an increasing number of people looking for health-functional food. Research conducted by the Ministry of Agriculture, Food and Rural Affairs showed that the global health-functional food market reached $301.4 billion as of 2010, after averaging a 5.9% annual growth. Its market in Korea is small compared to the global market size, but after enforcing the Health Functional Food Act in 2004, it has grown sharply in size over the 8 years by 4.5-fold. A household in Gwangjin-gu, Seoul, Ms. Eo-jin reminds her family to take vitamins and other health functional foods to keep her loved ones healthy.
저희는 3대가 같이 사는 집안이기 때문에 저도 물론 일하는 엄마라서 맨날 매일 피곤하거든요. 그래서 비타민, 종합 비타민 많이 먹고요. 그리고 또 요즘에는 비타민도 연령층에 따라서 또 나뉘어져서 나오더라고요. 그래서 부모님들은 또 시니어용 드시고 계시고.
Then what would be the smart way of purchasing vitamin and health functional foods?
일상생활에서 부족하기 쉬운 비타민과 무기질을 보충하는 것이 가장 큰 목적입니다. 물론 여러 가지 기능이 있을 수 있지만 우리가 그 질병을 치료하기 위해서 먹어야 하는 그러한 종류의 식품은 아닌 거죠. 영양 권장량은 나이에 따라서, 성별에 따라서, 그리고 여러 가지 상황에 따라서 다르게 결정하고 있습니다. 따라서 그 표시량만 볼 것이 아니고 자기한테 맞는 양이 얼마인지를 좀 조사해 보는 것도 중요하죠.
Competition is getting fierce in the domestic health functional food market, and there is one small and medium-sized company taking the lead, none other than VitaminHouse. It is leading not only in the Korean market, but also taking by storm in other countries around the globe.
노령화가 진행이 되는 것과 동시에 예방의료가 아주 빠르게 발달하더라. 이것에 대해서 착안하게 됐습니다. 건강을 보완하는, 그러니까 보완제로서의 이제 개량화된 비타민을 몇 미리를, 미네랄을 몇 미리를 어떻게 투입해 주는 것이 좋은가에 대해서 이제 상담하고 그리고 그러한 상품을 공급하는 사업을 해야겠다고 생각을 하게 돼서 이제 이런 건강기능식품 사업을 시작하게 됐습니다.
VitaminHouse has developed outstanding quality products in partnership with renowned health food makers from the US, Canada, and Australia. The company is now producing some 250 products. It has even developed a DIY system so customers can select products according to their age and gender with convenience.
모든 비타민과 미네랄을 단일 제재로 공급을 하고 그 소비자가 요구하는 것에 대해서 그걸 추천해 줄 수 있는 그러한 프로그램과 그러니까 소프트웨어와 DIY 비타민을 공급하게 됐었습니다. 시장의 흐름 하나하나를 좀 읽어나가는 이런 과정에서 이제 비타민 하우스가 시장의 새로운 영역들을 좀 만들어 나가는 그런 계기가 되었던 것 같습니다.
Products are made in factories that have received GMP or Good Manufacturing Practice certificates from the Ministry of Food and Drug Safety. VitaminHouse also gained recognition from the Iranian government and established bases for exports in the Middle East.
최신 설비와 재정 위생을 바탕으로 인위적 가오를 최소화하고 품질 오염을 방지하고 품질 보증 체계를 확립하여 고객을 만족시킬 수 있는 우수한 제품을 제조하는 것이 우리 공장만의 GMP 인증이라고 할 수 있겠습니다.
VitaminHouse maintains its competitive edge by conducting unique distribution and marketing strategies. It implemented shop-in-shop systems by operating a counter in hospitals and pharmacies to provide appropriate types of health remedy to customers.
고객님들이 일단 오시면 이제 불편하신 점이나 개선하고 싶은 점들을 저한테 이야기를 해주셔서 이제 그 불편하신 점에 대한 비타민 처방을 통해서 이제 고객님들이 많이 만족을 하시고 좋아하시는 편이에요.
일반인들보다 훨씬 더 이제 체계적으로 비타민과 미네랄 식이요법에 대해서 배운 이 영양사들을 교육해서 그리고 이 교육된 영양사들을 이제 약국으로 이제 파견을 하기 시작했습니다. 약국 내 하나의 샵을 다시 만들고 그 샵을 관리하는 상담 영양사를 파견함으로써 약국의 새로운 수익 모델을 만들어내게 됐습니다.
After finding success in Korea, VitaminHouse is entering the overseas market. In advanced nations, such as in the US and Europe, about 40% of their population regularly take health functional foods, and the market is considered saturated. That is why VitaminHouse is targeting consumers in Southeast Asia and the Middle East.
저희가 주력으로 삼고 있는 동남아시아 중동 시장 같은 경우에는 뭐 수돗물을 그대로 먹을 수 있는 나라가 두바이나 싱가포르 몇 나라밖에 안 되거든요. 저희 제품은 그냥 사탕처럼 먹을 수 있거든요. 그런 아이디어 자체가 저희가 무슨 이 국제 그 컨퍼런스나 아니면 이런 그 박람회나 이런 거 갔을 때 현지 바이어들하고 고객들한테 좀 많은 어필을 했었던 것 같습니다.
Not only does VitaminHouse sell high-quality products with appropriate price tags, but also taste that local people enjoy. VitaminHouse exports to 9 countries and recorded $139 million in sales in just 13 years of its establishment, setting a precedence for its peers.
끊임없이 새로운 상품을 개발하고 시장의 수요에 맞는 그러한 상품들을 공급하는 역할들을 계속하겠지만 이 상품이 이제 한국에서만 머무르지 않고 세계로 비타민 하우스의 브랜드가 한국의 브랜드, 대표 브랜드로서 그 역할을 할 수 있도록 만들어내는 것이 저희들의 큰 구상이고 방향입니다.
VitaminHouse has found its foothold in Korea as the major health functional food maker. It will continue to grow as a global company, thinking of health first and developing appropriate products while exercising innovative marketing strategies.
Seoul and Pyongyang have agreed to hold the 19th reunion of families divided since the Korean War. But it's unclear whether this event will actually go ahead. Late last year, a similar reunion was planned, but was called off at the last minute by Pyongyang. Still, thus far at least, it's fingers crossed. Things appear to be proceeding quite smoothly. It looks as if Pyongyang is making a conciliatory gesture. But if so, why so? Moreover, what effect could a family reunion have on warming the currently frigid state of inter-Korean relations?
In a rare confidence-building move, South and North Korea early last week agreed to set dates for reunions of families separated during the 1950 through 1953 Korean War, raising hopes that the humanitarian program may pave the way for better relations between the two Koreas. In another sign of warming inter-Korean relations, officials from the two countries on Wednesday met in their highest-level government dialogue in more than 6 years at the North's request. But many people remain cautiously optimistic about inter-Korean relations amid lingering skepticism on the motives of the rogue nuclear state. It took only 4 hours for South and North Korean delegates to agree to hold the so-called separated family reunions. Analysts studying North Korean issues suspect the prolonged isolation of the North in the international community must have felt the urgent need to improve relations with the South through the humanitarian program.
이산가족 상봉 실현을 통해서 그들이 남북관계 개선에 적극적으로 나서고 있는 그런 모습을 보여줌으로써 대중관계 그리고 대미 협상에 있어서 보다 유리한 상황을 만들어내고자 하고 있습니다.
Pyongyang's apparent move seeking better relations with Seoul began this year.
북남 사이 관계 개선을 위한 분위기를 마련해야 합니다. 북남 관계 개선을 위해 앞으로도 적극 노력할 것입니다.
In response to that, South Korean President Park Geun-hye on January 6th urged the North to prove the sincerity through action.
남북관계 개선에 대해서 얘기를 했는데 그 자체에 대해서는 환영을 합니다. 그런데 이제 중요한 것은 말이 아니라 행동이고 또 진정성 아니겠습니까?
But Pyongyang rejected the offer a few days later. Instead, it had repeated its desire to improve relations with Seoul, but called for the stop of aggressive war games by the U.S. and South Korea. After the two Koreas exchanged a series of verbal attacks for weeks, the North suddenly changed its stance.
이산가족 상봉을 전격 제의한 것은 역시 금강산 관광 재개라고 하는 그런 실질적인 이익, 또 금강산 관광 재개는 앞으로 원산 관광과 연계시키려는 그런 관광 수입을 증진시키고 싶은 그러한 실질적인 이유. 그다음에 역시 이제 5.24 조치 해제라든가 남북 경협을 활성화시켜서 지금 김정은 정권이 야심차게 하고 있는 소위 이제 개방 정책, 그러니까 14개 개방 특구를 발표를 했었는데 여기에 대한 투자를 좀 유치하고 싶은 그런 생각이 있었던 것 같습니다.
North Korea has not been successful in luring foreign capital in its newly announced special economic, industrial, and tourist zones that seem to be critical to restoring its moribund economy. In particular, it appears to have been struggling to attract not only foreign tourists, but also its citizens to the Mashik ski pass after the ski resort opened in December. The reclusive socialist country also appears to have realized it might be time to improve ties with its capitalist neighbor through action, as China's frustration towards North Korea appears to have grown since Pyongyang's third nuclear test last year.
장성택이 중국의 그 창구였었는데 갑작스럽게 처형함에 따라서 중국도 대단히 불쾌하게 생각하고 있고 또 장성택을 통해서 이루어졌었던 북중 경제 협력들이 재검토되는 그런 상황이지 않습니까? 북한에서는 경제적으로 상당히 이제 타격이 있는 거죠. 그렇다고 한다면 남북 관계를 좀 개선할 필요가 생긴 거죠. 그러니까 중국에 대한 경제 의존도가 너무 크고 그래서 이런 경제적인 의존이 심화되면서 정치적인 자율성까지도 훼손되는 그런 상황까지 있기 때문에 북한으로서는 좀 좋지 않은 겁니다, 사실.
As usual, the North is believed to be using the humanitarian program as a bargaining chip.
기리졸브 훈련의 부당성이랄지 이런 것들을 그 이야기하는 데 있어서 이상가족 상봉 날짜를 그렇게 딱 연결시키면서 하는 것이 결국 북한으로서는 논리적으로 자기 논리적으로는 외부 세계에 이야기하기 더 그 강하게 임팩트를 줄 수 있다. 이런 차원에서 그런 이상가족 상봉 날짜도 그렇게 잡은 걸로 볼 수 있습니다.
Just one day after the totalitarian state agreed on the reunion dates, it warned that it could reconsider the deal, citing a U.S. B-52 bomber sortie over South Korea.
지난 시기 전쟁으로 인하여 생겨난 흩어진 가족 친척 상봉 행사를 위험천만한 핵전쟁 연습 마당에서 치른다는 것은 말도 되지 않는다.
But its southern neighbor says the military exercises with the U.S. military will proceed as scheduled, regardless of the reunions, as the drills are annual defensive ones. The first high-level government dialogue since the North's nuclear test last year ended without any fruitful result, raising concerns that the North's latest charm offensive could be a prelude to more confrontation.
북한이 이 남북관계와 관련된 부분에서 남측에 대한 100% 신뢰를 갖고 있다 이렇게 볼 수는 없습니다. 지금 현재 북한은 자신들의 어떤 정치적 목적, 그 육자회담 재개랄지, 김정은 제1위원장의 방중이랄지 이런 것들을 위한 활용하는 방식으로 남북관계를 적절하게 관리한다 이런 정도이고 아마 이상가족 상봉 과정이랄지 앞으로 북한이 금강산 관광 재개에 대해서 남측 정부가 어떻게 반응하느냐 이런 것들을 보고 남북관계에 대한 드라이브를 걸 가능성이 있다.
Now, there are growing concerns over whether the emotional reunions of the separated families could take place as agreed.
북한의 진정성을 누구도 믿지 않는 그런 상황에서 정말로 그런 노력하는 모습을 보여줄 때 남한을 비롯한 주변국들이 신뢰를 할 거고 신뢰만 일단 형성이 되게 된다면 북한이 원하는 그런 경제 문제 해결은 이제 뭐 시간 문제다 그렇게 봅니다.
Millions of people have been separated from their relatives across the world's most heavily armed border without any telephone, letter, and email exchanges, as the two Koreas remain technically at war. Pyongyang must not disappoint the people who have not met their relatives for 6 decades.
And that's all we have time for on Bizline this week. But do join us again next week. We'll be taking a look at the troublesome issue of personal data security. We'll also be looking at the balance of trade in TV content, particularly Arirang TV, which is now available on America's largest satellite TV service. But that's all for now. I'm Andrew Salmon. This was Bizline. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.